Morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling, joined by Anthony Stabile, who he was sleeping in the studio. I came in this morning. We were sleeping upstairs on the third floor. I think he just left a few minutes ago.
I already have the Blow Horse Stakes recap under my belt.
Jeez. Anyway, New York Bred Showcase Day, one of our favorite days of the year. And it's funny, I was thinking yesterday.
We finally get one at Aqueduct.
We had one in 95. It was 95, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I was talking about it. I think it was 95. It was one of the 95 or 96. We canceled. I remember being with Harvey Pack. I remember driving with Harvey, being in his office, and they canceled. It was a horrible, windy, rainy, awful day, and they canceled, and they ended up running it here.
Oh, you know what?
You weren't on the tweet about it yesterday, the other day?
I didn't see it. I think you're right. I think it was 95. I think we canceled the weekend before the Breeders' Cup because of the rain and the wind, and they moved it here. I believe you're right.
Oh, it was 95, right.
Breeders' Cup week.
And then we had Breeders' Cup, and then we ran it right.
Yep. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Wow. I forgot that.
That makes sense, yeah. I just remember being with Harvey. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, so we'd love to talk about all sorts of idiotic stuff.
Especially Harvey.
It's our entire lives. I just remember being with Harvey, and they canceled us.
That's it. That was what happened.
I remember we drove in, and both Harvey and I were saying, "Oh,
Saratoga Water, by the way."
Sponsored by Saratoga Water. We love them. We have nothing but Saratoga Water bottles all over the desk.
We went from none to 14.
Looks like my desk in Belmont, where I have like 30 bottles, like that much left in them. Anyhow, head over to Naira Bets. The glass is not half full at Naira Bets. Use the promo code CUP25. We will match the $200 of your initial deposit and give you a free $25 play. We also have lots of stuff. They mandatory payouts, pick fives, pick sixes. They all got to get paid out. 10 race card. It's closing day, and it went fast. It really did. I think part of it for me, because the commute's so much easier for me. Sunday at Belmont in the fall, it starts getting cold and gets long. I start to drag, and here it's just been fine. So anyway, and the weather has been a little chilly at times, but good, except for some rain that ruined the first half of the meet. Anyway, $5,000 trifecta bonus. Hit the try the last race. We should just give you $5,000. It's that tough. You'll be in a hit and split. Opt in over at Naira Bets. We have middle pick 4 begins in race number 4 today of our 10 race card. Pick 6 going race 5. One person hit it yesterday, took down the whole pool. And last but not least, America's Day at the races, 12:30 to 2. Oh boy, trying to figure this one out. So wait, 6? Oh, so we're only on until, I thought we were on until 6:30. Now I'm really confused. Okay, I got to figure that out. Maybe I'm done at 6. That would be even better. Anyway, I'll have to get the answer to that. All right, covering Churchill. Well, it's Melbourne Cup, right? That's tomorrow night at 10:30, from to Monday night at 10:30 to Tuesday morning at 12:30. So as soon as Anthony's done trick-or-treating, he can come in and look at the Melbourne
I'll be going
Cup.
as a harness driver.
Yeah, I can't believe I thought you were supposed to text me if you were going to do that. I did see the pictures on Twitter. That was funny. Race number 1, we'll take a look at Disruption. We'll show the star of the race because he does not break that sharply in here. And I thought he ran a respectable second to a horse I want to say was the favorite in here, Stonewall Star, that got it done. And he breaks about 3/4 of a length slow. You see him back there. You see those familiar silks. Her, excuse me. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I thought she ran well. She's the horse to beat. I didn't want to pick her on top at a short price, but I have nothing against Disruption here. Seems like
Neither did I. Exact same thing. I just didn't want to pick her on top.
We can pick it up top of the stretch.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it is. Stonewall Star could be okay.
Okay, go on.
I was a little surprised not seeing her in the entries, actually.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, I went to Central Speed, first-time starter right next door for John Terranova, who has a nice little work tab coming into this, and I just wanted to take a little shot against the runner.
Okay, the 6 Bustin' Hot, who I put on top. This horse had basically an enter. I think it was entered as an MTO before and had a series of B-plus workouts, which for this level of horse is a very, very strong workout. I have to Joey Loose Lips. And I know Linda doesn't move a lot of first-time stars. When she's going to run a live one, I won't be surprised when she runs it on New York Bred Showcase Day. So I took that firster on top. A little bit interested in the 8 Me Joe Dreams. I don't love this horse. Was entered in the maiden claiming race that scratched. Rick won it with the other half of the entry last week. But this horse has speed and ran to a buzzsaw, and You're My Girl first time out. And I got a horse like that's going to break her heart. So I thought she was a little bit interesting as a horse that showed speed last time. Could use her. See what happens in race number 1. Race number 2, we're going 6 furlongs. And we'll start out with the Christophe Clement horse that can win. And now we'll get the horse that Anthony picked on top. But you're just so excited to see Joel Rosario back in town that you have a Joel Rosario double. As far as Frank's art, we'll show his race last time out. I'm not his biggest fan cutting back, and I thought when he won first time out, he got a very good setup to do it. And I know he ran faster figs going longer, but Christophe has done well when he's cut them back to 6 furlongs. And I think he is clearly the most talented of the 2 horses for Christophe Clement. I'm not sure what you liked about Mr. Chairman. I picked him 3rd in here. Why do you like Mr. Chairman?
I kind of feel like they tried putting him closer to the pace last time, and I don't think it worked. I wonder if that was a function of the draw, just being outside and not wanting to get hung out.
It's a slower pace.
Well,
but that's what it was.
No, last time.
Yeah, he was closer to the pace because the pace was slower.
I think there was a little bit more intent, and I like the draw inside now. I like a little bit extra. I like a little bit extra distance, and I'm thinking he goes back to his old ways here, and he kind of sits a trip and makes one run.
His position has been a function of how quickly they were going in his races. When they ran fast, they outran him. When they didn't run fast, he was a bit close to the pace. I mean, Anyway, okay. The problem I have with him is that, first of all, he's never shown that he's very good, but also his second start, the race he won, he got about as perfect a trip and as good a setup as a horse could get. Now he does figure to get some pace in here, but the problem is he's running against much better horses in this race than he was running in before. And I don't know how fast it's going to be. And it'll be interesting. Courageous Ola ran terrific 2 races back on the turf. Absolutely terrific. Sandrone ran well last time. We'll look at Sandrone's last race. We'll look at that one first. We'll go back to back with these 2. Sandrone took about as tough a beat as you could take last time. I mean, you talk about losing a race at every stretch. I wonder how fast they're going to really go up front. And we can show these 2 replays back and forth, but I think that both Courageous Ola and Sandrone are dangerous horses to be forward the entire race and be there at the end. And I think that that's problematic for a lot of the horses in this race, and it could be a bit problematic for my horse, War Terminator, who I do like, but I think the speeds are tough in here. And we'll show the Courageous Ola race as well, and this is 2 back. Rather, he ran a terrific race in there to finish 2nd, and he showed his good form by running 2nd in the dirt last time. I think War Terminator is dangerous here. Ran first time off a layup, was outside against the gold rail on the first day they took the rails down on August 10th. And actually ran pretty well in there, and I think he's just a horse that's better going a bit shorter. And he's got fast enough figs to do it. They left him in last time. I don't know. I guess they didn't want to lose their stars. They want to make sure they got in.
Right.
I'm gonna take War Terminator. I hope he gets enough pace to run it. I think he is the most legitimate of the 6 furlong horses if he gets enough pace. I thought the others were a little bit questionable. Race number 3. This is a tough race because the Bankett thing is weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like they entered him in the wrong race because the Empire Clay Class came up very, very weak this year overall. And then they ended up scratching. I don't understand the whole thing. Unfortunately, I think Reggae Music Man was an issue, and he had to scratch because I liked Reggae Music Man in this race, actually. It's funny because I was talking to David Aragoni yesterday, and I said, you and I picked the same horse in the Hudson. And he said, yeah, unfortunately, I heard from the connections that when he had picked him that he was going to scratch, which is too bad. Now, what do you think now may get it done? We'll take a look at him winning the Morrissey. But I got to tell you, I don't trust this horse at all. I know he got the job done at Saratoga, and he was Rudy's first winner. But, man, that race is sandwiched by 2 horrendous efforts. Not bad, horrendous.
I will not hold the Parks race against him. I will say the race last time. Well, it was off a little bit of a layoff, and it's Parks.
But it was off the... What are you talking about? No, it wasn't. He was off 6 weeks before the Marks race. Oh, you mean the race 3 back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What about last time?
No, I can't. I don't have an excuse for last time.
That's the problem I have with him, and I don't trust.
Well, I mean, Sibelius is in pretty good form.
I don't care. Please, he was awful in there.
Supposed to get a good trip in here, isn't he, Andy? Right off the 1, isn't it supposed to line up 1?
Yeah, but I don't think the 5 perfect munnings is going to be compromised. And I don't love perfect munnings in here. Don't get me wrong, but I can't bet on. What do you think now? I just can't take him. Okay. I can see him winning. I got him 2nd. I'm not saying he can't win, but I'm sorry. His last was terrible. Now we'll look at Perfect Munnings. If Perfect Munnings runs his last race, he's going to win. Now, I don't think it had anything to do with sloppy track. I just think it's weird that he's run these 2 big races basically in his entire career, and they were both in Saratoga. That's, to me, what the troublesome. I mean, I don't, it's like you take the 3 races that are the meat in the sandwich between the 2 Saratoga races, and they're terrible. I mean, they're not even like, one of them's on the turf. Okay, that's fine. But, like, they lost to Montauk Daddy, for God's sake. I mean,
but even the turf race, he won on the turf
first time out. It's like he gets to Saratoga, and he just comes to life. I like Reggae Music Man here, and I didn't want the 2. And where else am I supposed to go? I mean, as far as who that's me, I don't know. I just sort of runs his race, and it's just one of the 2 or 5 is supposed to show up and run a better race than the 3. But I guess if neither of them runs, he'll probably win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he'll win this race by default. Maybe he will.
I put who that's me between the 2 favorites for the simple fact that I think he might just be a Saratoga kind of lover.
No, I'm not going to defend that. Listen, this is one.
He might be the favorite in here.
Where, yeah, I think Rudy's going to be the favorite. But it's close. It's close. No, I don't disagree. It's close. It's hard to know. Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Reggae Music Man in this race. And one of the reasons I didn't trust anybody else, and he ran very well last time. See what happens. Race number 4, the Empire Not So Classic. Okay. We're going to start with Barisi, who you don't like, and I'll tell you why I like him, and we'll show his win in the New York Derby. My feeling with Barisi is that he's a better horse if he can relax at least a little bit. And in his last 2 races, they've had to be much more aggressive because of the lack of speed, but also because the horses that were speed looked like the horses that he had to beat. Now, with the presence of Montebello, Seafoam, Dr. Blue, the pace should be honest. So he doesn't, but he's also not slow. He's not going to have to send. He can sit if it's not that fast, 2-3 lengths behind, and be competitive. He doesn't have to worry about one horse getting loose. He may lose the horse that gets loose. I don't like the horse you like, but that's fine. I just think in this race it's going to set up better for him. I think something has to give in this race, which is why I have Brooklyn Strong second as well. Can we hold off on Dr. Blue? I had the. You know what? Can you guys show the Dr. Blue video next, or is that a pain? I'm waiting. Thank you. Sorry, because Anthony's got that horse. Don't you worry about 1.8 miles
Yes.
horses like Seafoam, because one thing about Seafoam and Kendrick, they're going.
He's going to have to sit off of him. And now I'm going to ask him to do something that he's never done before. I know.
I think that is a massive ask. I know he ran a big figure last time, but I think you're asking a horse to do something.
His last 2 figs were good.
Well, his last race really stepped. But you're right, the last 2 were both very good races. The company got deeper and the trip got tougher. We're trying to show his last race, if we can, from Aqueduct.
But you're right, Andy. He's going to have to sit. He's not going to get in front of. I shouldn't say he's going to have. I can't imagine he's getting in front of.
Doesn't Ira have to at least go with Montebello? I mean, he showed last time if they rate him, he's got no shot.
I'm hoping that they hit up front a little bit here.
Well, but
I know
he's a hitter.
Well, he's going to have to rate, and I think Jose knows that. I think Jose knows
you're getting him to go
himself.
farther than he ever went before, and he's going to do something he's never done successfely before. That's a big ask.
He's also never tried it for Saffie Joseph.
Right, but that's a big ask. I mean,
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I know that. But he was the kind of thing where I think you make a good case for Barisi.
Well, he's going to be the favorite, son.
Right. I didn't want to take the chalk. I would have liked to have picked Brooklyn Strong in here. But
you were allowed. Here's Seafoam and Brooklyn Strong's race in the Evan Shipman.
I mean, the wheels have just really come off the bus a little bit.
Well, that's not quite true. That's not fair. You could argue that he's finally starting to get some reasonable form.
He's rounded into form, yeah.
And he's not a 1.5 mile horse, so I don't really care what he did in that race.
Is he good enough?
I agree. Is he good enough? Well,
that's the question.
If the race falls apart, Big Bobby's not winning this race, I don't think. I mean, I guess I don't blame him for taking a shot. At least he showed life last time. I'll give him credit. His last race actually was pretty good. I have trouble making him win. Maybe he'll win. I can't bet Curlin's wisdom, but he did run a big fig last time, and I do think Truancy's pretty good. But I don't know. He's my second choice here. I'm going to use 2s and 7s. I'm going to play that the horses that are forward aren't going to be the winners. You took a different approach.
Yeah.
See what happens in the Empire Classic. The Mohawk. Well, we'll take a look at this race. Changed when the 5 came out. Jerry the Nipper. We'll move on to race number 5. Without Jerry the Nipper in here, it's a much, much different situation. And I think that's going to help Rinaldi, who we'll get to. And it's also going to help City Man.
Yes.
Because it's not going to help the horses like Cold Hard Cash and Sanctuary City. And we'll show the last race. And I have nothing against City Man. But the margin isn't that significant. And I'll tell you something else about Sanctuary City. It's not like he's never closed into races that didn't have that much pace. So he seems to run his race every time. He's going to be too big a price. City Man might be too short a price. So I took him on top, but I have no illusions.
I think that's perfectly said, sir.
Yeah.
I really do.
City Man's the horse to beat in this race. I mean, the odd situation in this race is that Rinaldi shows up. Rinaldi and Giacosa, two of them have been in bubble wrap somewhere waiting around to show up, and they both show up for the bonds today. And I'll tell you something, we'll take a look at, we're going to go way back for him and look at the Forbidden Apple in 2021. Machine? Well, it's the last race I'll tell you, like, he actually ran well in the West Point when he finished fifth.
It's a funny, busted up that day.
Well, it was a funny situation. Do you know why it's a funny situation? Who busted him up?
The other Rapoli horse.
Yeah, Rapoli sent a rabbit. Not that I don't blame him. I mean, I think trainers should use rabbits more than they do.
Me too.
I would never say that in a negative way. But you would thought with Jerry the Nipper and Rapoli in here, one thing they're going to make sure, Rinaldi, he wasn't going to let Jerry the Nipper get away with anything. Out. But now he's gone. And, I mean, they're running him. And it's been a while since he's been able to control the pace the way he did that day. And are you really going to be shocked if he runs well in here?
No.
And I mean, let me put it this way. If you would handicap this race without Jerry the Nipper in the race, you don't think you would have had him 1, 2, 3?
Probably would have had him third.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love him. And City Man's supposed to be close to him.
Probably would have had him fourth. I think Cold Hard Cash is going to run well today.
Why?
I think he's a horse that's kind of rounding into form, and he did the same thing, kind of did the same thing last year, and I think he's just gotten a little better this year. I'd like to see him. I think he's going to be a good enough price, too, where if you're looking for an alternative to City Man, I think he'd be the one you would want to take, because I feel like Sanctuary City is going to take some money today. Just being a little stakes-faced, and Cold Hard Cash, those were his first two stakes the last two times. I thought Cold Hard Cash would get...
Cold Hard Cash can't beat Sanctuary City unless Sanctuary City has a serious issue in here. I mean, if you compare the two trips that these two horses had, Sanctuary City ran a lot more than the nose better than he finished to him, because he's the one that was wide the whole way around the track, while basically Cold Hard Cash was saving ground pretty much the whole race before angling out in the stretch. So based on their last race, I think it's tough to see Sanctuary City losing to him, but maybe Cold Hard Cash is improving. We'll see what happens in the Mohawk. We'll be back with the second half of the card after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling on New York Bred Showcase Day and the final day of the 2022 Belmont at the Big A meeting.
First one ever.
We could start calling it Aqueduct on Thursday or Friday. Not race till Friday.
No, I worked a couple of late nights this week. I'm going to have to move everything over tonight and everything.
All right. We tried that joke once. It wasn't really that funny. We'll start with race number 6, the Iroquois. And I think it's an interesting matchup, because you have a horse, Banksting, that has the accomplishments and good form, and we'll take a look at her win the Dance in Renee. The problem with her is she now hasn't run since June.
Where's she been?
And
yeah,
was he waiting for the winter because she did so well? I mean, keep in mind, did the exact same thing last year.
Yep, she's 6 for 7.
They won the Critical Eye. They didn't come back till October. They gave her a prep, but she needed her race back. Now, that was a long race, but she needed the race.
She is 6 for 7 at Aqueduct. She is 1 for 5 elsewhere.
Well, it's a function of when she was racing, and maybe they feel it's a winter situation.
Of course. It's definitely.
But I mean, her race last time
it's more so that.
But her last race is as good a race as she's ever run. So I'm not exactly sure, but maybe their thinking is that there's
I think you're right about the time of year.
More money available, more races available for her. But
because she can knock down some, there are some. If you're willing to run under the 3/4, 6.5, right? This is 6.5. If you're willing to take a little distance off her plate, there are more options in the winter here, and there are some against open company. So.
Well, she doesn't show 6 rolling race except for her last race. But she's running into a horse that's in raging form, that has recency, and that's Betsy Blue. And while I understand that in general she's a little faster than Betsy Blue, we can show Betsy Blue's last race.
Betsy Blue has a faster race on her car.
Saratoga's faster, and I'm going to take the recency on a horse that's just raging. I mean, she's really. I mean, she was always a master of consistency, but not that fast.
Off the board one time in her career.
She's amazing. She's an amazing horse. And listen, I mean, Banksting's 8 for 12 with 1 second. She's not exactly a slouch. This is a really interesting matchup of these two horses. I'm going to go for recency and a horse that's probably going to be a slightly bigger price because Banksting has sort of the accomplishments to show.
I wonder about that.
What did David make him?
It's 9-5 and 2-1.
Okay.
But I think I might go the other way.
Well, I think you're going to give me one. I gave you a lunch bet that I knew I would lose yesterday.
No, we'll go do it again.
Okay, so I'll say the 6 will be favored.
Yep. I think
I don't have much. You don't have. Yeah, it's a fair bet.
Yeah,
okay,
fair. I think the recency's going to carry today, but you might be right.
I don't know. I think that Banksting's a horse that people really like. I mean, look at the prices she goes off.
Yep.
And I don't want to give no love to Mozienko. I don't know if she's good enough to get it done in this particular race. And I have Fenty Valentine, the turnback, who's been a disappointment after that huge effort returning off a layoff. But we'll take a look at Mozienko last time. I mean, she's quite a story for Dennis Laumann. What has he made with her since he claimed her for very little? No, she's made $300,000 this year. He claimed her before this year.
Yeah. So
I mean, she's made about $330. She's made over $300,000.
I think it was $240 going into the last, or $280.
And in making me feel old, his daughter is the owner, and I remember when I first met Dennis, him coming with his wife, and his daughter might have been in high school, might have been younger than high school. That's how long ago it was.
Oh,
Stacy, right? I mean,
my dad used to ride him with the bug.
Oh, yeah. No, Dennis.
35 years ago.
Dennis doesn't have many horses, and when he claimed one for himself, he has had, I mean, this horse and Game Token alone.
She's the only horse he has.
They claimed those two horses for about $20,000 combined and made about $650,000 to $700,000.
She's the only horse he has right now.
Amazing.
His record's 5 for 12 on the year like hers.
Well, Mozienko, $300,000 pays a lot of bills, so done well with her.
It sure does.
I love her, but a little tough for her. But
little tough,
but
Water got a little
got some
deep
figs
today.
that are. We got that 88, 93. Yep. No, I won't be shocked if she's a factor in this race.
I have a little more love for her than you, and she is your girl.
Well, she's not my girl, but Game Token's one I made more money with. So we'll get into the 2-year-old portion, and either the 2-year-old races were incomprehensible because there's a lot of horses that are going to get bet in these races that really aren't very good. And that's going to be the topic of conversation with the first 3 finishers in the Joseph Jimma. I just think that the reason I took Security Code out of this race is, can show the Jimma, please. She didn't show up in that race at all.
Okay.
I was kind of waiting for the
like
replay.
Almost.
Hang on.
We're waiting for a replay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, maybe we're having trouble with the replay.
We don't. I know. We have a replay of the Joseph Jimma. Gambling Girl, Miracle, Les Bon Temps. I'm sorry.
There it is.
That's okay. That's okay. Anyhow, I think this race stinks. I think it stinks.
So tell us how you really feel.
Well, I've had enough of Miracle. If Miracle is anywhere in the trifecta, I should pay a fine. To me, she's just getting worse with her races. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt with the slop. She had no excuse in this race. And they all got it done because Security Code didn't show up. And I think both Security Show's first 2 races are better than these horses can run. Now, maybe Security Road ran well up in Saratoga, like a lot of Phil Serby horses, and will never run a good race again. But Leave Me Alone actually ran very well in the Frizette. You can say that, say what you want.
She did.
She did. And I'm going to give this horse one more chance because Gambling Girl is one of the favorites. The 8 Miracle is one of the favorites. I want absolutely no part of those horses. I don't think they're good, and I think that anyone has to beat them in this race.
Where's Maple Leaf Mel?
She had an issue after Saratoga. That
Oh,
was
I didn't
announced.
know that.
Yeah. We talked about it last time. I know that. Yeah, she had an issue. She's out.
Oh, that stinks.
You like them one too. I don't like them at all. But go ahead.
I don't know where else I was. I'm not taking the Serpy horses. I mean, that's obviously he's had one horse run well, and the one horse that ran well was a horse that's a nice horse.
They also did better last time. They knew she wasn't going to run last time. She's going to run better. She was
I just
coming
feel
that
like
race up
Gambling
3
Girl's
weeks.
gotten better as she's I don't know, gotten some experience, matured. Maybe the distance helped. The 2 7/8 races are better than the other races, and
I don't like her at all. Okay.
Listen, I don't love anybody in here. Don't get me wrong. I don't have a strong opinion.
I don't like these horses at all.
In the
I think
least,
Joseph
yeah.
Jim was a horrible race, and I think Security Ode failed to show up 3 weeks after her last race, and now she's got over 5 weeks going into this race. So I'm hopeful that with a little more time, and don't forget, you say something. This horse ran 3 weeks first start, 3 weeks later, and 3 weeks later. So maybe it just was a bit of a heavy toll. Maybe she can bounce back. I'm just kidding. To me, I'm just kidding's the horse to beat. Her dirt race, I don't agree with David. I don't think she's going to be favored here. The problem is he may be right because of the turf race, because she got a big figure in the turf races. If they bet her off her dirt races, she wouldn't be favored. Here's her race when she broke her maiden on July 15th at Saratoga. She didn't break her maiden, I'm sorry. She was second to Lady Mine. Bless you. I think she may be faster than these horses. I just think she may be a better horse than these. To me, she's the horse to beat. David's probably right. She probably will be favored. I think she's the one if you want to be logical. I'm just going to hope Security.
I think Gambling Girl will be favored, but yeah, I don't.
You think Gambling Girl will be favored, and you picked her?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
I mean, she's 7-2 on the morning line.
But she's IRAD.
What
They can't. They overbet a horse. IRAD. I mean, the fact that horse in the first race was a heavy favorite yesterday is embarrassing. I'll tell you who I think is dangerous. Silver Skillet. The fact that Clement takes a shot and runs her in this stake race, and I'm surprised. I thought you would have her somewhere with Joel and Clement. This is the Joel Clement you leave out. This is the one I think you're supposed to have in there. This horse, okay, the bump start is complete BS. But this horse broke 3/4 of a length slow, was 2-3 wide in the turn, angled out wide in the straight. This horse has not had the easiest of trips in her races. And I think she is a lot better than she suggests on paper. And I think Silver Skillet's going to run well in this race at a price. I'm going to use her as well. I want to stay away from the horses that ran 1, 2, 3 in the Joseph Jimma. And I think that gives me horses like the 2, 6, and 9. I don't love them, but I don't like those horses. They win, I want to lose.
Okie dokie.
Race number 8, the Ticonderoga.
You ever been up to Fort Ticonderoga?
I feel like I went with my parents a long time ago.
Oh, Bob Fox, the late Bob Fox in 1989. How about that?
I want to reenact some battles up there.
I learned what a cat of nine tails was that day.
1989, you learned what a cat of nine tails is.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I always loved them. I was more big on the milkweed pods. I always liked those as a kid. Well, you grew up in Brooklyn, not a lot of cat. There are cat of nines in.
I'm not talking about the flower. I'm talking about the actual weapon.
Oh, a weapon?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual.
The torture device.
No, I'm not big on that stuff. Anyway, we'll take a look at the John Hettinger. And I'll be honest with you, I don't see any reason that Finest Hour isn't the horse to beat from this race. I mean, she did all the dirty work. She was 3 wide around the racetrack, and she did the work. The other horses did no running. Marvelous Maud sat in the rail, angled out in the second start. Second turn, Runaway Rumor, same thing. They were just clunking up at the end when the race was over. Why is Finest Work not supposed to beat them again today?
I thought she ran too good last time. I thought she almost has to go the wrong way off that race, Andy. I really do. I thought she ran too big a race. I know that doesn't make any sense. You're looking at me like I'm nuts
doesn't
now.
make any
But
sense, but-
look, she's in good form.
So
Her
these
last
two
3
are going to
races-
run well coming out of the same race, but she's not going to.
Because I agree with everything you just said. She did a ton of heavy lifting last time. And now you grabbed the money last time at 8.5 to 1. She won't be favored because Chad and Errad Ortiz Jr. are in the race. But she's going to be 5
She's still
to
going
2,
to pay
3 to
$11,
1.
$12. No, she's not.
No way.
No chance.
All right.
She'll pay at least $9.
Under.
You say she'll be under $9? I'll take $9. I'll give you a push at 9 even.
Deal.
Okay.
So 7.
9, 10 or more.
9. You could have 9, 10 or more. Absolutely. Because your only chance at winning this bet is runaway. Is people still
My
falling
only chance
for
of winning
Runaway
this bet
Rumor.
is when she takes less than 20% of the money. I got it. I don't want the other two. I don't want the other two. I think they were exposed in that race. Now, Finest Work may not win. As far as Giacosa, who you have on top, we'll show her last race back in May, almost June. Why is she going to win today?
Do I love that she has one race on the year? No. But she ran well off of November to May layoff. She ran well enough last year off of November to May layoff. They were upset. I remember talking to Kevin Bond before the meet started in Saratoga, and they knew Rinaldi and Giacosa were not going to be running in Saratoga, and pretty much knew that they were going to be pointing towards New York Bred Showcase Day. She's run well enough fresh. And she's unlike Rinaldi. She's not a speedball.
She's never run a race good enough to win.
Well,
and she beat Classic Lady, with all due respect.
Classic Lady
is a claimer.
Well, we talked about this. Yeah, we talked about the last time. Classic
she beat a
Lady
terrible field last time. I mean, she ran well in the context of the race. I'm not denying it, but that was a terrible field.
I'd like to imagine she's going to follow Mashney out of there. You got Pure Bodie and Dakota Dancer in here. There'll be some pace on in here. I'd like to
they'll
think.
Be flying.
I'd like to think Louis finds a little position with her.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Eek. I don't agree, but okay. I don't think she's close to anywhere. I don't think she has any position at all. She has any speed. But okay, does it matter? I don't think she's going to have.
Of course it matters.
I don't see how she has any position in this race whatsoever, but okay. But hey, I took a horse that I'm hoping is in front of her. She has more speed, and that's Spongy, and I'd like to see Junior use her a little bit out. As far as Spongy, she got a perfect trip to win last time. She was very fortunate to win. But I'll tell you something about Spongy. She had shown last year the potential to be a player in this division. And obviously, she was way against the track in the race in Saratoga, but something went wrong. And she came back and needed a race. Good trip or not, at least she showed up last time. And she ran. And she's going to be a bit of a price for Mott. And I wanted an alternative to Finest Work because I don't want to bet her, because you're right. She paid $18 last time, and even if she pays $9 or $10, it's just, I don't like to go back to those things, though I think she can win. But Spongy, the more I thought about it, I was going to pick at 410. And I thought, you know what, if I'm going to pick the 10 second, I'll put the 10 on top, because she was cut out to be a pretty good horse.
She went to the bench when she went to the bench last year. She looked like she was going to be in the division. Absolutely
that
right.
win at Belmont, I know she beat a ridiculous field, but I mean, she looked like the goods.
86 Fig in the middle of the summer. Figure by the end of the year she'd be in
this race.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure they thought at this point they'd be in this race too.
Right.
Or
You're not
hope they
going to
would.
hold that Saratoga race against her because she was gone for a year.
I mean, I will say she drew outside and she got a great, I mean, what a ride Junior gave her last time. It couldn't have been better. I mean, she was so lucky to beat Master of the Tunes, who came back and didn't get the best ride of all times. I'm just going to take her on top. I don't know that she's good enough, but you know what? She was once.
She'd be a big price.
I've got Mott on top, and you've left him out.
Imagine this.
I want you to know this is before Bill and I were texting yesterday that I put this race on top.
What a day.
I was doing that. I want Bill to be clear on that. Race number 9, the Empire Distaff. You and I have an extremely different opinion in this race, and we'll take a look to start it out. And I'm glad that we've got your. I mean, I got to tell you something. It's touching enough that you and Chad Summers are friends again, but your newfound friendship with Mitch Friedman is one of the most emotional, is the emotional high point of 2022. And even Hirsch is making fun of you with me. By the way, so just so you know, we're even I got Hirsch making fun of you. And out of love.
I almost put the sauce on top.
I know. You should be ridiculous. Anyway, this is Let Her Inspire You, getting it done. She beats Sunset Louise, and she beats Carrigate. My opinion in this race is I want absolutely no part of Let Her Inspire You and Brattle House in here. As far as Let Her Inspire You, she is getting candy strips. And listen, I'll be honest, I tried to beat her last time, and I was dead wrong. But she is having the run of the race in these races. And with a horse like Brattle House and her speed inside of her, and that ain't happening at 1 1/8 miles, which I think is not in her best interest.
She sat last time.
She sat at 1 mile around one turn in a far, far different scenario than a 1 1/8 mile race around 2 with Brattle House. I'm sorry, I don't think you can compare the two. You obviously disagree.
Yeah, I think she's going to get a good trip again right off of her.
Okay, we disagree.
I do.
And you like Carrigate. She's got speed. And the race is going to have a fast pace, and you like her.
She has to be behind those horses. Those horses.
Well, she'll be behind them
fast.
early, middle, late, and finish.
She has to sit. I think she has to get the right trip in here.
Okay. Okay.
My question with her is she's just a wet track horse, and which could.
Well, she's not good enough either. But besides that, she's not.
I mean, how good are these? Let me ask you a question. Based on her last 2 efforts, how far do we think Brattle House wants to go? Do we think she wants to? I mean, I understand that race.
You have Brattle House third. I don't have her in the top 4.
I'm just saying.
We'll show her last race. I don't want any part of Brattle House.
Okay.
Her last race is 2 races in a row where she's given it up at odds on.
Yeah.
And listen, she shouldn't have been 1-2 and Bizanani 2-1.
Correct.
And I was mad at myself for not picking Bizanani the whole day because Bizanani was no less likely to win. But she just gives it up like, oh, just go on, just go by me. And now she's got Let Her Inspire You running in there. If she wins this race, I'm going to lose. I don't like her. I think that she got really good for Bill. And I know from a speed figure standpoint, to be fair, she's held her form. And maybe she's just lost horses in Betsy Blue and Bees and Honey that got a lot better. But I don't know, man. She lost 2 straight races at odds on. Now she's got to get a mile and an eighth. Not for me. I'm gonna go back to my friend Ice Princess in here. I'm gonna use Sunset Louise. I'm gonna basically go against all of them. I can't take Sweet Mystery in here. I can't take Frost Me. So basically that leaves me with a 1, 2, and 5. And we'll show the Empire Showcase Day last year. And Ice Princess ran the best race of anybody. Now, I get it. I've tried Ice Princess, and she's been in races. She hasn't been good enough. But I know she can handle the distance. I know she's going to get some pace to run at today. I know Sharp Star is going to get some pace to run at. And Sharp Star, as you know, she wakes up an occasional morning and decides that she's a good horse.
Like this day.
Yeah. Well, she got a good trip, but she did it. I think this race falls apart. I think this race falls apart in the stretch, and I'm going to take these horses.
If it falls apart, I think when Mitch Freeman's going to get the job done.
Good luck to that.
First
opinion.
first one to come.
Good luck to that opinion. The horse has to be. Good luck to that opinion. We're gonna have to agree to disagree in this race in a very, very massive way. We saw this race completely differently. And then the Sleepy Hollow. Not easy races. These are fun races today. I mean, we might just disagree all day long.
I like that we.
No, I think these races are very, very interesting. This is not. I don't believe that this is one of these New York Fed Showcase Day that has a slew of short-priced horses that are going to win and pay $380. I think if you have some smart opinions today, you're going to make money on this card. You're right once or twice.
All the mandatory payouts as well.
Yeah, no, this is a fun card today. I agree. This is a race where you and I are in basic agreement on the 3 horses, inside horses.
Yeah.
As far as why I put Donegal Surges, first of all, I want to see Jackson Heights do it again, and I think you and I had a similar opinion. I at least put him 4th in here. I have absolutely no idea where they came back. The only person, by the way, we can show the replay of the Bertram Bongard. The only person apparently on the track that wasn't surprised, do you know who it was?
Orlando Nona?
No. I don't know if he was surprised or not. Who would know? They're so quiet. They're like church mouses.
Who?
Javier. Maggie asked him after the race. Maggie, I think, was Richie or Maggie? Were you surprised? No. Javier, not surprised. Javier, you were surprised. Stop lying. He said he wasn't surprised. I laughed. I was going to text him and say, you weren't surprised, Javier? You're the only guy in the building. I got to tell you something. This horse ran last time.
He does that again, he's going to win.
Now, he was with the track. The 29th and 30th were outside flow days, as it turns out. But this horse ran. I mean, I have no idea where it came from. I mean, it looked like a ringer.
He looked like a ringer.
I mean, like...
It's like having Paul and Duke on your softball team.
Who was more surprising if you look at their PPs, him or the winner of the Kelso yesterday? And I agree with you when you texted me after the race that he was about as ridiculous. This horse was more surprising. This horse hadn't run a step in any of his races.
I want to tell you something. That Kelso result, that's one of the 3 wildest results I've ever.
That was
I tell people
for a stake race.
The most shocking
in a stake race.
The most shocking race I had ever seen when a favorite went down was when Jaywalk came back after winning the Breeders' Cup in 19. She ran against 6 fillies in the Devona Dale.
Yeah, but she couldn't run anymore.
It was the first race off the list.
But so what? That's shocking.
She was 1 to 5. She ran last.
Okay, well that doesn't surprise me. But okay.
That was stunning to me.
This was a horse with an entire career of races that were nowhere close to being competitive
scary yesterday.
There.
That was absolutely scary.
Yeah. I was right to bet against.
Baby Yoda, you just there were 14 other horses.
The 3 horses I used against him are at the 8th ball right now. That was really stunning. My feeling with Donegal Surges and why I put him on top, and I'm not sure how good he really is, and it may be that both Arctic Arrogance and Canarsie are better horses, and I don't have a big problem with that, is they had to play Arctic Arrogance's game last night, and I give them credit for it. There was no pace in there. If they didn't go, they had no chance.
Right.
In this race, there figures to be more speed here.
So
at least they can just sit back and make his run. Now,
yep.
I'm just still not sure that makes him good enough anyway. But at least in this situation, after being in a couple of races where he had no chance because of the way the pace scenario and with more distance in the air. But as we show Canarsie's race, he beat a horse by a head that came back and ran an 84 Beyer. I mean, it's funny. I had run into
ask you what Rick was shot
84 Beyer. I ran into to Kendrick that morning, and Kendrick said, that Kimmel first to rider, I can't lose. And I laughed. And I even joked with John. I said, does Kendrick know there's a horse that ran a mid-high 70 Beyer in this race? Kendrick was right. I mean, she lost, but And others ran at 83. How many horses, first-time starters, ran 83 buyers in New York bred maiden dirt races and lose?
As a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good race.
I mean, that's
a good race. Those
are good horses.
Yeah, they're good horses.
They're good horses.
Yeah,
no question about it. And listen, I'll say something about Canarsie. I mean, don't lose Cruz. Put her away twice.
Kept coming at him.
Yep. No, she's okay. She ran. I got no knock on her. She seems like
I
she's
even
okay.
thought there was a little, like you said, the 3 inside horses. I even thought there was a little bit of a gap back to Arctic Arrogance.
I don't agree with that. I think
Yeah.
Arctic Arrogance. Well, Arctic Arrogance against the track last time.
Right, you said the outside flow days. Okay, we'll see. Gotta get another 1/8 of a mile. They're supposed to be loose. Supposed to be loose from that rail draw. There's not much speed in here. We'll see what Jose does. I mean, Jose, you know.
Oh, I think Canarsie's quick. I think you're underrating how fast Canarsie is. Canarsie's quick. Anthony, you're
but it's a rat. He doesn't like to go chase after those horses.
That's a fast horse, Canarsie.
Yeah,
He's a faster horse than Arctic Arrogance. He just is. Doesn't mean he'll be in front, but he's faster. Anyhow,
it was wonderful sharing the stage with you and Salman at the Big A. And
yeah.
It was
We're going to be a
real
completely
treat.
different look when we come back. You'll be shocked how different it'll look.
Not going to see you for a while, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm here Wednesday. I'm taping the videos Wednesday, and we're doing a show on Wednesday because whatever.
I'm doing the show Thursday, but
there you go.
You guys are all here Wednesday.
I will be gone. All right. See you in November. We will see at Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over to Naira Bets. What else can we tell you? Use the promo code CUP25. We'll match it with $100, give you a $25 free bet. We got mandatory payouts today on all the bets, as it is the end of the meet. $5,000 trifecta bonus. Hit and split, opt in, hit and split in the last race today, a race we just talked. It's the only race Anthony I agreed on, so it might be the only race that one of the horses have absolutely no chance whatsoever. Middle pick 4 starts in race number 4 today. And America's Day at the Races. There you go. I'm a little thrown by this. I'll have to check downstairs. I thought we were on to 6:30, but apparently we're not on Fox at 6:30. And this is tomorrow night. This is not tonight. This is Monday at 10:30, not tonight. The Melbourne Cup. Anthony's heading out to Australia for that race. This is that one in like 6 or 7 years that it's run before the Breeders' Cup. Normally it's run after, but this year is run, I guess it's on the first Tuesday of November.
It is.
So in November 1st.
The race that stops a nation in.
There you go, yeah. Yeah, no, I actually was surprised because Nick Luck was here when they were here covering the races, Nick and Brittany, and we were talking, and he said he has to go from Melbourne.
He's there?
Yeah, and I said, don't you go from the Breeders' Cup? And he said, explain to me, it was the one. I guess there are times when it's possible it could be like a longer gap because of leap years. For instance, the Belmont Stakes will not fall on my birthday for like 11 or something years.
Oh, okay.
Because it's going to miss it because of leap years. So very unlikely I'll still be working here next time. I'll actually maybe get to enjoy the Belmont Stakes on my birthday next time.
There you go.
Hopefully I'll still be around somewhere. Anyway, we're done. You have a great day. It's New York Bred Showcase Day. What could be better? I mean, knowing that Najah Thompson's in the building just gets everybody excited.
You know who could be better? Johnny I with the scratches and changes.
Johnny's here all the time. Najah's not.
He wasn't up late for the Yankee game last night again.
Houston won, right? I turned it off.
He did.
3-0. We're done. See ya. Bye.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations.